1 in every 10 Indians has a thyroid disease. And if you are a woman, then you are twice as likely as a man to get it. So what should we do about it? Let's have a look. I am Apurva Joshi, a foodie and a clinical nutritionist. You are watching a video by Unbox Nutrition. I am covering one useful thing related to women's health every day leading to Women's Day. So if you have missed some of my previous posts, please find them in the comments below. We just learned that we are at a higher risk of developing a thyroid disease. Now how do we know whether we have this disease and what should we do about it? Now thyroid is a small gland located in your throat, and this gland controls your metabolism, which in turn controls a lot of different functions in your body. It also controls your bone health, brain development, growth, etc. So if this gland functions at an adequate pace, then we have no issues with any of these functions. But if it functions slightly faster or slightly slower than it is supposed to, then we might have issues. And the more common kind of problem is when your thyroid gland is slightly slower than it is supposed to. So how do we figure that out? Now there is a blood test called TSH which tells you how well is the function of your thyroid gland. If it is adequate, you are doing okay. If it is higher than the range, then your thyroid gland is slow. What are the cases in which our thyroid gland might be slightly slow? Now the first reason is if you are not consuming the vitamins that your gland requires to process certain hormones, then it can be slow. Second one is if there is an inflammation or a swelling on your thyroid gland, it can be slow. Or the third reason is Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease. That means when your body is destroying your thyroid gland slowly. Now let's have a look at some tips and tricks on managing our thyroid better. First one is to make sure that you feed your thyroid gland well. Now what do I mean by that? Your thyroid gland does need some nutrients to make sure that it functions properly and makes the hormones that it is required to make. Some of these nutrients are selenium, iron, zinc and iodine. Now you can get selenium through Brazil nut, other nuts and seeds, egg yolks, chicken, meat, fish, etc. You can get zinc from most of nuts and seeds. You can get iron from any non-vegetarian food or green leafy vegetables, seeds, soya bean, etc. And for iodine, the most common source is our iodized salt. Now it is okay to eat all of these foods in moderation because you are never likely to exceed the daily requirement too much through just foods. But if you plan on taking any supplement which includes these, then please consult a doctor because excess of a nutrient like say iodine may not exactly be helping your thyroid gland. The second tip is to screen yourself periodically. A person who does not have a thyroid disease, their thyroid gland works like a thermostat. That means based on the conditions, whenever the requirement of hormones change, the thyroid can automatically increase or decrease it. But if you do have a thyroid disease, then your thyroid gland may not be able to do this automatically because you are taking something externally in a form of pill to adjust these hormones. So this requirement can change as per your weight, your climate conditions, metabolism, etc. So you have to screen yourself every 3 months to make sure that you are taking just what your requirement is. Now if you are somebody who does not have a thyroid disease but does have a family history, then make sure you screen yourself at least once a year. And if at any point you feel these symptoms, then screen yourself immediately. One period in which your doctor might want to screen you more often is during pregnancy. Now pregnancy is a time in which your thyroid requirements may fluctuate, which means that your dose may require some adjustment. That's why screen yourself as often as your doctor tells you to. Third one is to be very wise about reverse your thyroid programs. Now there are a lot of people and companies in the market which claim to reverse your thyroid disease. Now please understand that if your disease is because of a nutrient deficiency or a temporary swelling, then it might go away if you handle it correctly. However, most people have the third type of disease which is called Hashimoto's, or which is an autoimmune disease, which means that your body is trying to destroy its own thyroid gland. Now if you have this type of disease, then it is not exactly reversible. Then why do these companies claim that they can reverse it? Now they typically try to make you lose weight, and as your weight goes lower, your requirement for thyroxine, which is the medicine that you take, also goes lower. So when you see that your doses are coming down gradually, they give you a hope that you are going to be able to get rid of this medicine completely. But in most cases that does not happen. So before you discontinue any medicines, please consult your medical practitioner, because by discontinuing these medicines, if your TSH rises higher, that is going to put you at a higher risk of osteoporosis, high cholesterol, menstrual irregularity and more. The next tip is to manage your Goitrogen intake wisely. Now Goitrogens are some compounds present in foods which interfere with the functioning of your thyroid gland or your thyroid medicine. Now these are typically found in two types of sources. The first one is cruciferous vegetables, which means vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, etc. Now, the goitrogens present in these vegetables do get destroyed when you cook them properly. So, do not eat these vegetables in a raw salad form regularly. Cook them properly and then include them in your diet. The second form which is found is in soya bean or any products which are made from soya bean. So, if you consume say soya bean atta in your rotis or soya milk or a protein powder or a protein bar which contains soya based protein, then don't consume it every day. Include it only occasionally. If there are any products that you consume very regularly, then do read the label to figure out if there are any hidden ingredients like soy lecithin or soy based proteins which do contain some items that you do not want to eat regularly. The next tip is to not get disheartened by this disease. Now, having this disease does not mean that you will keep putting on weight always or you will always have bad skin or hair, etc. If you manage to take your medicines properly and concentrate on your overall healthy lifestyle, then you might be able to lead a normal life just as any other person. So, do not think about concentrating on the disease, instead concentrate on your health. Make sure that you get enough sleep, enough rest and exercise to maintain a healthy lifestyle and maintain your weight. The next tip is to look out for other autoimmune diseases. Now, if you have Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disease, then your tendency to have any other autoimmune disease is also slightly higher than other people. So, the most commonly found autoimmune diseases in such people are gluten intolerance and lactose intolerance. That means if you face difficulties with your digestion very regularly, say if you feel bloated or you face indigestion, flatulence or constipation or diarrhea, etc. regularly, then screen yourself for these two with the help of a dietitian and then plan your diet accordingly. Next tip is take your medicine as the first thing in the morning and do not eat anything for half an hour after that. Now, this is going to ensure that anything that you eat does not interfere with the action of the medicine and the medicine acts effectively. Now, that sums up some of the useful tips and tricks to manage this disease. Now, I work with an endocrinologist and regularly see ladies with thyroid issues. So, if you have any queries for yourself, please send them to me in a direct message or in the comments below and I would be very happy to help you out. So, we are going to see each other in yet another video where I will be covering one more aspect of women's health very soon. Until then, keep unboxing nutrition with me. Hit the follow or subscribe button to stay tuned.